What up, YouTubers and YouTubettes? So today I'm going to be making glacial acetic acid. And so I'm going to use 200 grams of this. And then coupled with this, I'm going to be using 300 milliliters of concentrated sulfuric acid. And I'm going to combine the two slowly in a beaker. Warning, I'm an idiot. And if I can do something, a trained monkey can do it. And if a trained monkey can do it, that means you surely can too. And just because you can do something doesn't mean you should do something. And just because you want to do something doesn't mean you should either. And so having said that, is it absolutely necessary for you to do this? If not, please don't do this. It takes dangerous chemicals and a lot of heat, and those two together cause burns real fast. Anyways, back to the video. Alright, so I've got 350 milliliters of concentrated sulfuric acid in there, and that's a little stopper in the middle part right there. So then I'm going to slowly have it drop down into here, and so this reaction's pretty exothermic, and so it's going to create a decent amount of heat. But with this setup like this, I can't fit it into my fume hood, so I'm going to slowly put the stuff in there and then get it back in there, and so that way I can get my things set up and get that guy on there. And so yeah, so again, you slowly drop your sulfuric acid down into here, and then I'm going to set up my distillation apparatus, and then I'll come back. Alright, I got all my sulfuric acid in there, and I gave it a good swirl. And then, so now I got that stoppered off, and I got my distillation apparatus going. And so if you see here, I've got a double short stack, and I've got water running through both. And so now, even though this is an exothermic reaction, I'm still adding heat now at this point to continue it going, and then also to help carry it over. And so another thing that you may end up having to do is, you see I have some foil here, is to wrap it with foil to help it get it up high enough to come down. In this reaction, so before I had my distillation apparatus set up, you could see that the mist that it makes, literally, like you can see it right in here, it only goes as high as it can because it's obviously a lot heavier than the air is. And so it just goes up and then falls down the tube. Yeah, and so this is how you get it going. And so then in my distillation apparatus, it hasn't started coming over yet, but once it does, I'll start showing you that part. Alright, so one thing I wanted to say is, so the boiling point of sulfuric acid is 337 degrees Celsius, and the boiling point of sodium acetate is 881 degrees Celsius. And so right now I'm at 150 degrees. Oh no, 112 degrees Celsius. And as you can see, I'm definitely pulling over acetic acid. And so I'm gonna run this until basically it stops boiling with just that low flame, and that will stop at this point, since there's no they don't have any near similar boiling points. So yeah, the glacial acetic acid will come over way sooner, and so that's how I know when this part will be done. And so then in here I'll have sodium sulfate and my sulfuric acid left, which at that point then I could still distill off my sulfuric acid, and then I'll have those two separated also. Yeah, because they don't have an azeotropic, yeah, they're not azeotropic, so that is why this can happen. So anyways, and then, so in here I'll have my glacial acetic acid, and that's the full process. And so from here I just put it into my container. And so now by the amount of sulfuric acid, I should get about 66% turnover. So with 300 milliliters of sulfuric acid, I should get, well, let's see. No, so from the sodium acetate, I put in 200 grams, and so I should get back about 160 milliliters of glacial acetic acid. And so that's what I should get. We'll see when I'm done, though. So you can see I put some more sodium acetate in there, and the sodium sulfur and sulfuric acid kind of solidified a little bit. You can see it shakes around in there, so I'm hoping that heat will re-moisturize it, per se. And so yeah, and I'll hook up my apparatus and turn the heat on right now, and then we'll get back to you. Alright, so we got the flame on, got our distillation apparatus is on, and we're ready to go. So now to see what happens. And so if this doesn't work, maybe where I messed up is that I shouldn't have let it get cool and solidify, but I don't know. I'm experimenting, and that's why it's called that. But yeah, so anyways, as soon as I see something, I'll start filming again. Alright, well, it turned back to liquid, and yeah, it hasn't started carrying over yet, but it looks like it's definitely going to. So yeah, if it does, that'll be neat. I didn't even measure how much sodium acetate I put in there. I put maybe a small tablespoon in, just to see if it would work. So I'm not expecting the crazy yield or anything, but yeah, it looks like it's gonna work though, so that's neat. Well, I'm pretty high as far as temperature goes, and no acetic acid is transferring over. So I'm gonna just go ahead and say that this does not work as far as making acetic acid. But now I still can distill off my sulfuric acid and get that back, and so I am still gonna do that. But yeah, well, that's a bummer though. Doesn't look like it works. Oh, wait, never mind. Maybe it is working. It looks like it's dripping right in there. If you can see. See, yep. Well, cool, then it is working. Haha. Alright, well, that's that. Either way, it does work. Well, on to the next one, guys.